Red Magic phones bring up the deliciousness of this brand, and friends who are interested in digital products will not be unfamiliar with this brand, which was born in 2018. This year is the 5th year that the Red Devils have come to the public, during which they have launched numerous classic products. But when it comes to Harmonio's mobile phone digital enthusiasts, there is almost a consensus that the appearance design of the phone is really great for playing games, and it is also really enjoyable. But apart from these 2 points, there seems to be no other highlight, especially the imaging system, which can be said to be the biggest pain point of Red Magic phones. Of course, some friends may also say that it is a bit excessive to request a mobile phone for location-based sports to stack images. It is completely the selling point that 2 consumer groups are concerned about, and this requirement is somewhat outrageous. However, considering the tremendous progress in imaging algorithms nowadays, it doesn't seem unrealistic to make such a requirement for an esports phone. What surprised me even more was that this year's Red Magic 9 Pro really did it this way. After using this phone for a few days, I can also draw a conclusion in advance that the imaging progress of the Red Magic 9 series can be considered a leap forward, and it can even compete with the iPhone 15 Pro Max in a competitive manner. Alright, we have already done enough groundwork. Now let's stop talking nonsense and just provide you with a sample. First of all, let's take a look at the daytime samples of the 2 phones. What surprised me was that the iPhone set of samples showed a tendency towards green and white balance. Relatively speaking, the Red Magic 9 Pro is more accurate. In terms of central resolution, the difference between the two is not particularly obvious, but the iPhone 15 Pro Max shows a significant loss in image quality at the edge of the screen. After zooming in, it can be clearly seen that the Apple One hang can excessively sharpen the tuning method, resulting in much better performance compared to the Harmony 9 Pro. In the second set of samples, the iPhone 15 Pro Max can be seen from the sky and the residential wall on the left, showing a noticeable greenish-white balance. Moreover, the details of the tree leaves on the right side of the screen are not as detailed as the Red Magic 9 Pro. However, the tolerance of the 2 phones is basically at the same level, and there is no particularly obvious advantage between them. Of course, if the number of samples is too small, it will obviously not have strong persuasiveness. So let's continue to compare and verify. The difference presented by this set of samples is quite obvious. The iPhone 15 Pro Max sample not only shows a white balance with a greenish tint, but also has an overexposure tendency in the highlights of the upper half of the screen, which directly leads to insufficient transparency and a hazy appearance throughout the sample. In contrast, the Red Magic 9 Pro performs better in these 2 aspects. The issue of decreased edge resolution in iPhone 15 Pro Max compared to this set of samples. If it is resolved, unfortunately, there is still white balance drift in the image. As Apple's flagship product this year, the performance of the white balance is indeed surprising. Then we return to the indoor scene. In this set of samples, the iPhone 15 Pro Max performs well in both white balance and edge resolution, but there is still a problem of low brightness in the overall appearance. At the same time, from the upper position on the left side of the A bookshelf, the tolerance of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is also weaker than that of the Red Magic 9 Pro. Below are the nighttime performances of the 2 phones. Looking directly at the sample photo, the difference between the 2 phones in complex lighting scenes is not very obvious. The brightness and transparency of the screen are quite impressive. But after zooming in on the sample, it can be seen that the Red Magic 9 Pro still outperforms some in terms of tolerance in the dark part. At the same time, the degree of detail retention at night can be seen from the clarity of the lines on the floor. The performance of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is not as good as that of the second set of samples of the Iris 9 Pro, which is relatively single lighting. However, the difference between the 2 phones is very clear. The highlight part measured on the water dispenser is very good, and the Red Magic 9 Pro has excellent suppression power on the highlight. The text inside the lightbox is clearly visible, while the iPhone 15 Pro Max directly shows very serious overexposure details, with almost no significant difference. No need for me to say more. The performance of the iPhone 15 Pro Max in extreme night scenes is almost the same as the previous group, but it is evident that the area where it performs better than the previous group is the sample. The position processing of the point light source is excellent, and the overexposure phenomenon is not too obvious. However, it is precisely because of this adjustment strategy that the brightness of the sample is too low. The highlight of our 9 Pro is not only not too thin, but the sky in the background also maintains a relatively high brightness. The residential building in the back position is also quite rich, and the differences in details are also very obvious. This comparison is still the same. Firstly, the details of the green plants in the lower part clearly require more information from the Red Magic 9 Pro. At the same time, the resolution of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is not as good as that of the Red Magic 9 Pro. We can zoom in on the sample and see from the clarity of the tile gaps on the floor that the main problems with the iPhone 15 Pro Max are insufficient resolution in the nighttime image and insufficient highlight suppression. However, after one of them caught up, the other shortcomings were not made up for, which is clearly shown in many samples. For example, at first glance, the brightness of the iPhone screen is almost the same as that of the Red Magic 9 Pro, but when we look at the lighting on the left side of the screen, we can see that the iPhone has insufficient highlight suppression. I believe this is also a significant investment made by the Nubian imaging team in this area. The Red Magic image is working, brothers. This is undoubtedly a huge surprise. The appearance is actually exposed before the phone heats up, so if we show it to you now, it may not have the pleasant surprise of the initial exposure. However, the significance of the Red Magic 9 Pro is actually to teach a lesson to the industrial design of the smartphone industry today. Smartphones can still be made flat, which is more realistic, right? How long have we not seen two flat smartphones again? The Hongmeng 9 Pro has gone against the industry mainstream, making the back of the phone completely flat. This is not only a feat, but also indicates that Hongmeng has once again set a benchmark in industrial design, with a large area of matte technology on the back of the body that is low-key and elegant. The lens area has a bright surface that runs through the body longitudinally and complements the matte area with clear layers. When the RGB light effect on the Model Z9 lights and shoulder button fan lights up, the night is no longer low-key, and the sports atmosphere is full. In addition to this, the phone also adopts a relatively square overall shape, with a strong sense of sharpness. On the front of the phone is a 6.8-inch Bow Q9 collection blue diamond arranged without any openings. The true full-screen resolution is 2480x116, and the display effect is delicate, which should be the best level in the history of the Red Magic. At the same time, this screen also supports high-frequency dimming at 2160 Hz, which is more eye-friendly. Compared to the iPhone, it is obvious that with the Pro's true full-screen solution and an ultra-high screen-to-body ratio of 93.7%, the visual impact is quite impressive. To a certain extent, the effect and temperament presented by the exterior design of the Red Magic 9 Pro are basically the ultimate form of smartphones that everyone talks about, and it is worth carefully playing and watching and comparing when you get it. It is worth mentioning that this plan has made significant progress again, with the entire camera size reduced by a large circle compared to the previous generation, resulting in surprisingly good hidden effects under the screen. It's hard to tell the clues, but daily use is even more perfectly hidden. However, under the demand for selfies and video calls, there is still a hazy feeling, making it difficult to widely promote off-screen front cameras. As a smartphone that focuses on a sports positioning, performance is actually the least concern for me. In fact, the performance of the Redmi 9 Pro remains stable, with a core equipped with a Snapdragon 8 Gold 3 processor and a storage capacity of 0.5x, and the top-level combination solution Antutu has a tested running score of 22 million, which is much higher than the Xiaomi 14 series. This question has a score of 1,687 for the 5 core exams and a score of 6,466 for the multiple core exams. The performance reflected in the game did not disappoint us either. The average frame rate of King of Glory is 126, and the score of King of Glory is 61. Leaving aside the score of Red Magic 9 Pro, it really surprised me. Recently, although many Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 models have achieved near full-frame performance, they have basically maintained a score of over 59 points and are expected to achieve 61. This kind of performance can indeed be considered the only one for gaming enthusiasts. The Red Magic 9 Pro's performance is indeed very impressive, and friends who are eye-catching gamers are really lucky. At the same time, in terms of heat dissipation performance, the Red Magic 9 Pro is equipped with an IS-13 non-cooling cooling system. The GVC area is as high as 10,182 square millimeters. Combined with the high-speed centrifugation of the Golden Shark fins, the fan has extremely high heat dissipation efficiency. The temperature test result of the Genshin Impact in 30 minutes shows a maximum temperature of 35.5 on the back and 38.1 on the front, which can be said to be a manifestation of the current flagship models. It is indeed explosive. Of course, when the room temperature rises in summer, the performance will increase accordingly. In terms of battery life, the Red Magic 9 Pro has added a super large battery with a capacity of up to 6,500 mAh to the phone, which greatly improves the battery capacity and brings visible improvements in battery life. The 5-hour battery life score can be described as outrageous, with a final remaining battery life of 63% vs 100 Pro. This top-ranked battery life figure was suppressed by Hongmeng before it even became popular. In terms of charging, the Red Magic 9 Pro supports fast charging with a power of 80 watts. According to official data, it can be fully charged in just 30 minutes. In actual testing, it was found that 22% of the battery was charged in 5 minutes, and 68% was fully charged in 10 minutes, taking only 37 minutes. This large battery has an ideal charging speed. Finally, let's talk about the system. To be honest, the system has always been the biggest pain for Red Magic. Unfortunately, I want to tell everyone that Red Magic 9 Pro still has to endure the pain. From the experience of Red Magic OS 9.0, the experience within the smooth animation interaction and interruption is still stagnant. I hope the Red Magic Center can endure the system part a little longer. In fact, overall, the Red Magic 9 Pro can be considered outstanding, especially when viewed from the perspective of esports phones. This phone has performed quite well in various aspects, especially in terms of strong skills and benchmark upgraded images and appearance design. The product's shortcomings have also been filled in, and the charm of the Red Magic 9 Pro can be said to be greatly released. However, when viewed as an all-around flagship, there are indeed objective shortcomings in the system. So my personal opinion is that if you are a mobile game enthusiast who pursues explosive performance and ultra-long battery life, but rather an appearance party, then the Red Magic 9 Pro is definitely a product that you can close your eyes on. If you value software interaction on your phone, then the Red Magic 9 Pro may still need to be carefully considered. Alright, that's all for this episode of the video. If the Red Magic 9 Pro has touched you and made you the ideal state in your mind, remember to follow it 3 times with just 1 click. Goodbye.